All right, guys, we're going to do our first monthly macro. It's the end of the month. Today, the last trading day of the month. Therefore, we get the monthly candle close. So we're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of zoom out on the charts and get a good idea what the macro perspective is going forward, okay? And we're going to do this across the board with silver and gold, uranium and oil and nickel and everything else, all right? Agriculture, we're going to do it all. It's going to be fun. So we're not only going to look at the monthly close, we're also going to zoom out one step further and get a look at the quarterly, because this being the end of the first quarter, we can get the quarterly close too. And let me tell you something, guys. Silver looks so good. I know a lot of people are kind of bummed on silver because, it's kind of promised to explode forever now. But if you zoom out, it couldn't be more clear how good of a setup this is. Obvious cup and handle taking place. And look at the volume, okay? I just want to point out the volume to you. Look how the volume has steadily ramped up, up, until you got to this point, right, in last August. I want to show you that since then, we have clearly been putting in a consolidation bull flag, okay? Because it's not too hard to see the flagpole here and then the bull flag here, all right? You see that? Now, not only is that clear, but the corresponding volume with it is declining. All right, we've been talking about this in uranium stocks and things like Sprott lately too. This is exactly what you want the chart to look like, because what this is signaling is a breakout. All right, so on this declining volume during a period of consolidation in a clear bull move, you can expect both things to break at the same time, okay? And so you can expect something like this to happen anytime now, all right? And remember, this is a monthly chart, so this is a big picture, but certainly it's indicating that the move is going to come and that it's going to be pretty violent. And what the monthly chart is suggesting is that when this move comes, look, a lot of people worry, well, we got to get through $30 first, and then we can start talking about 50. Look, you look at this monthly chart, when we break up out of this baby, we're already going to be, what, like $27? What do you think this monthly candle is going to look like? All right, maybe 1, 2, 3 months tops, and we're gone. This $30 level is going to be history. All right, so this silver chart could not look better. I could not be more bullish on it. I think if you're not in silver, you really need to start getting your position set up, because you're running out of time. So with that being said, let's look at the macro picture in silver stocks. Everybody loves AG. Let's start there. It's a great stock to look at. It's got that clear pennant. It's been forming since 2008. Okay. A couple of key moments here in time stick out automatically. We had the breakup right here in January, and this corresponded with that Wall Street bets, Wall Street silver squeeze, okay? And it failed, and we came back and we went for the retest and we failed, all right? And I've talked about this before in a video where when you break out like this did and you come back for the retest and you fail, all right? And you fall back inside that pattern, but then you don't wait too long. You turn right back around and retest it again for another breakout. Usually what that does is acts just like a slingshot, right? And you just blast off up here. So the monthly candle, the most important thing to me is the volume, okay? Because you have a clear, massive upswing in volume as you're attempting to break out. Now, even though we have an upper wick on this thing, I think it still looks very bullish. And we got the close above too. I think that this is a sign that we're on the way. I don't think you come back and test like this 50 on this monthly again. I think if you can buy AG under $13, certainly anything close to 12, you take it. I think the idea that you ever come back down to any of these levels anymore, that's in the past. That's gone. Pan American Silver as well looks very good. Another uptick in volume on the monthly. It could not break its resistance level either. Clearly right about $28, $29. But long term, it looks very good. This is a very bullish pattern, just like AG. It's headed in the right direction. I think when you zoom out, we've got momentum to the upside. The RSI is in a good spot. It's trending the right way. I mean, it looks strong. Hecla, another good chart, another big month of volume coming up. Really, it's confirming. And I've talked about this in uranium videos lately too. You see how all of these silver stocks so far are either toying with, barely breaking, or barely failing to break significant resistance. So in this case, we have Hecla trying to break out of this wedge right here. All right, you see how it touched it right on the tick. All right, and we'll go back to AG. You see how we tried to break out, but now we're kind of closing just on the tick, right? We looked at Pan American Silver. See how it came up and touched just on the tick of that major resistance there? You see how there's confluence across the board in all these silver stocks? You see how they all kind of look the same, even though they chart different, even though they have different patterns. There's confluence of them hitting major technical levels at the same time. Right? This is why it's important to chart things across the board. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. It doesn't matter if you only want to own AG. You still need to chart the entire sector. Just look at Endeavor. It actually had this wedge it already broke out of months ago, okay? It broke out. It came for the retest on the tick. You love charts like this. I mean, you can't ask for a better setup than something like this, okay? You know how strong of a buy that was? Right, if I had made a video back then, I would have told you, man, you buy this with prejudice, right? Because it was just clear. When you get a breakout of a clear pattern and you come back for the retest, you buy it. You know, I mean, of course, you could break down. You got to watch and see what it does. But when you hold that retest, man, that's a buy every time. And now look what we're doing over here. We had another leg up, and now we're putting in another bull flag, right? This downward motion after a big leg up is a bullish pattern. And it's doing the same thing. It's failing and closing just at the tick. You see that? You understand? This is telling us that silver's not quite ready to break out. But the volume is there. The interest is there. But there's a lot of selling, okay? Look at SIL, okay? This is the ETF of the silver miners, okay? Where's SILJ? Oh, I'll add it back later. All right, it looks just like Endeavor, right? We broke out of this wedge, and then we came back, and we just got the retest, okay? We just got the retest here in January. So that was an uber bullish buy right there. And if you think about it, we're only up 15% since then, okay? However, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. We're putting a big wick on that tough key technical level, all right? And then we're closing right there at another one. Look. This confluence across the whole sector, it's telling us that silver's kind of being held back right now. It's just not quite ready for its breakout yet. I don't know when it's going to break out, but I can tell you next month the candle's going to start right here. Does that make sense? And so we're either going to go ahead and get the jump, or we're going to fall down and touch this one more time. I think the good news is we only have about 30 more days left. I mean, another monthly candle should give us a pretty clear answer on the timeline for silver. We're sitting at the 50. I mean, we don't have to wait much longer for silver, okay? So best case, we're about to start breaking out. Maybe next month we get over these key hurdles, right? Maybe next month we keep going with this volume and we start running, all right? At worst, and we spend another month, maybe touch this 50 again, one more buying opportunity before we turn around and break out. And got to make sure I get SILJ in there too. It's the junior silver miners in there. It didn't hit a critical point unless you kind of cheat a little bit. I'm not seeing it. I'm gonna leave this where it was. This is where you get the most touches. That's most likely the most accurate way to chart it. Yeah, it's got nice volume. It's sitting above the 50. But it is less clear. And this actually makes sense because a lot of the juniors are waiting. Even in the gold sector, we're about to talk about that next. The juniors are heavily lagging behind the majors, like the Newmonts and stuff. We're about to take a look at that. But this doesn't surprise me to see it not hitting the same kind of confluence that everything else was, because this is charting kind of a lower tier of stocks than what we just looked at. I mean, so even though they're in the same space, it makes sense that they're going to be charting a little bit differently. They're running a little bit behind. You could make the case that they're running about 25% behind, right? So just to touch base and make sure we talked about this one. Where to go at? Look at it. Look at it. Couldn't look any better. Remember, we talked about it right here too. Okay, we talked about gold back here. And look where we are now. We knew we'd get a nice run up, but we also knew we'd get a pullback. And that is a big upper wick, okay? There's no way around that. That is a big upper wick. But that's okay because we anticipated. I'm actually going to zoom in here for a minute. We anticipated this and we talked about it here. We knew that we would come down and start consolidating. We knew we would. Right? Zoom in a little bit more. And that's what we're doing. Because on the daily, we've been talking about this 50, right? And maybe we even get a flush down to the 200 at some point. But it makes total sense that we just put the handle on this cup. And what we didn't know back here is what that handle would look like, right? But we guessed. And at the time, we were talking about pennants, right? And we were talking about maybe we would put in another cup because it's already a cup on a cup, right? It's the inception of cup and handles on the gold chart right now. So it makes sense. This looks good. We come down here and do something like this for a while. You know how good that is? It's amazing. That seems very reasonable and probable to me. We could even potentially kind of ride the 50 up like this, right? Maybe you get a little flush down every now and then to the 200. Keep everybody in check. You know, you got to shake out the weak hand sometimes. And then, you just get to that point and you kind of break out. So on the macro picture, let's go back out. Actually, let's go ahead and go to the quarterly. So Jordan Roy Byrne, he was talking earlier. He pointed out the fact that on the quarterly, we got the highest ever close on gold, and we did. So as far as the quarterly candle is concerned, that's the highest it's ever closed, okay? And so that's very bullish coming up out of this pennant like that. I think next month you start to see increased volume. I don't know how long the consolidation will last, guys. I don't know. But if you kind of scale it, how long this cup was to how long this handle was, if we were to put another, handle on this one the same kind of way, I mean, we're talking about a few months, right? A few months. And then this thing should break out. So what about the stocks? Agnico Eagle, look at that. Look at that volume. So this is still on the quarterly. Let's go back to the monthly. Looks good. Not only do you have that volume, but you're getting it here at support. So that's a clear bottom. Clear bottom. If you're a long-term investor, just buy it because you're not coming back here again, guys. You might trade sideways and hit over here or something, but you're not coming back here. That was clearly a bottom. And if you didn't get in, you missed it. And this is what the big producers, this is what the big majors in the gold and silver space are trying to do right now. I mean, you come look at Newmont. Look at this. Look how good it looks. And I was begging people to buy down here too. Like friends and family, I was begging them to buy down here because I knew that this was a bottom. I actually got it here and then we held and we had to come back down and we actually went a little bit lower right here because I was telling everybody this was the bottom. We ended up going down a couple of percent more right here. But I knew that was just the ultimate buy. I knew it. And here we are now, just taking off, right? We're going on our way to new all-time highs with excellent volume, solid bars. And look, these big producers in gold, they're leading the way because while gold might be consolidating and kind of taking off, chilling out for a little bit, smart money's getting in this stuff, okay? They're building their position, right? They're getting in now because it's clear as day that gold is about to skyrocket. So if you want to be a part of this run, you got to start getting in right now. I don't care if it's Agnico Eagle. I don't care if it's Yamana. Oh, my God. I love Yamana. By the way, I bought calls down here that are just making me an absolute fortune. Okay. And so I am loving some Yamana Gold right now. This baby's got a long way to go too. All of these are good. I've got a gut feeling about B2Gold as well. What a great looking chart. This is all-time high record volume. All right. And we're coming up on key resistance. We're going to blow through it. We're going to blow through this, guys. We're going to just keep going up. I mean, we were back here in August. Okay. And, the price of gold's about to be a lot higher, right? Not only higher, but stable permanently, right? It's not coming back. Okay, so you have companies like this that are still undervalued, that are still great deals. I mean, compare it. Think about it like this: where were you in right before the pandemic hit? Let's go. What am I mixing myself up here? Here, you can buy this at pre-pandemic levels. You understand that? It's like this whole move, you just get to skip all that time and still get in at a great price. Do you understand that? Look at it like that. Look at it like that. Franco Nevada. Ain't got no time to play around. Look what it's doing. Broke out of this thing, came back, retested, and is taking off even more, right? I mean, it wants to bust. It wants to bust. It wants to bust. You can see it clearly. Gold is so bullish, guys. I mean, honestly, I like it more than uranium. Now, uranium's getting all the attention because it's exploding so fast, so quickly. But, ultimately, it's probably going to, burn its candle at both ends. And that's great. We're all going to make a lot of money on it. But, man, you want to talk about true wealth generation for sustained periods of time? That's gold and silver. Right? And if you're not in, you need to get in now. Even the royalty companies, look what they're doing. Let me clean this up. So we had a breakdown out of the channel. Now we're back in the channel. Not only did we get back in the channel, we did it on volume. Couldn't be more bullish. Couldn't be more bullish. What a great buy. Just pretend this little duck down didn't happen. Now you basically get a chance to buy just off the floor of the channel. Think about it like that. Right? It's all about perception. And a lot of people will miss out on this stuff. I know this isn't gold and silver, but Vale. God, what a great company. What a great company. Look at all my buy prices, by the way. Let's zoom in on this one a little bit. Hit all of these. So I actually had this 1150 buy priced in way up here. And we came down. I was off by a couple of percent. All right. Look what we've done since then. Just what a great company. I mean, these guys have steel and nickel, and they have everything. Copper, This is a great commodity asset to have and to own. And a dividend, too. I mean, part of the reason why this company is going to do so well is their dividend. And, if you're looking for exposure like that, where you can get paid to own it too, and something that's just going to grow and grow and grow in this commodity bull run, Vale is it. Newmont is it. But all of these companies just look so good, guys. The gold space, let's get back out on the monthly. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Wheaton Precious Metals has a breakout with volume on the monthly. Look at that. Clear as day. There's no mistake in this, right? It's clear. So why don't you own any? It's a question, right? Then we start getting into a lot of my list of juniors and explorers and stuff. But we're just going to talk about the big guys today because they're leading the way. And now the juniors are going to come up next, right? Here's the GDX. We'll go ahead and talk about that. Monthly candle. Looks good. We're starting to get that ascending volume. You can believe it's just going to keep going up. Or you really think it's going to roll over? No. No, of course not. It's going to keep going up. It's about to explode. What about the juniors? Hey, getting the breakout on increasing volume. What do you know? All right. And just like the juniors in silver too, we talked about that. Remember how they're trying to get up above those key resistance levels, right? And maybe they're peaking, booing above, but they're closing just below. Guys, this is why you open charts. And this is why you look at more than just the things you want to own. You look at the whole sector because you can find this confluence, right? And what it's telling you is that it's testing, right? It's getting ready. It's peekabooing. It's trying, right? And they're not quite ready. The juniors are not quite ready, but the majors are. The majors are taking off. This is your last chance to buy the majors. So here's my advice to you if you're looking to get into gold and silver equities right now. If you want in any of the majors, you have to buy them right now. You just have to buy them right now because they're ahead of the juniors, they're ahead of the explorers, and they're not coming back, okay? So if you want any of the quote-unquote A-grade companies, you have to buy them right now. The window is already closing, all right? Clearly, the big money is coming in on these things. Likewise, if you want to get into the junior space of either gold or silver, you still have a little time. In fact, you might still have a smidge of time to get in at a little bit lower price than what we have today. It's up to you. You can play it however you want. But they are lagging because the market still isn't sold on the gold price. But once that gold price takes off, these juniors are taking off too. And they're going to blow right by the majors in terms of percentage. All right, we're going to look at U.UN for Sprott Physical Uranium. clearly we had this little wedge here and we broke out. Nice continuing volume. Looks good. Uranium is so bullish, can't stand it. If you look at the over the counter, it gives kind of a more bullish scenario just because you had this kind of neutral volume in consolidation, which is good, and then a blast off in volume on the breakout. And that's really what you want to see. I think the over the counter kind of gives a more accurate representation of the breakout, I guess you could say, as far as the chart's concerned, even though the TSX is a bit larger, and but anyway, regardless, very bullish. It looks good. If you're looking to get in and you don't care what the price is today, you only care about what the price is in a couple years, then buy it, right? Because it's going up. Uranium's going up. It's going up a lot. URA, massive volume on the monthly. Massive volume. Something is kind of shaky, though, in uranium to me, and we're going to dig into that. I'm going to kind of zoom in on the daily and weekly to kind of help you look at something, because while this is definitely going up, you guys, no doubt about it, something does seem a smidgy bit off to me, and we're going to talk about. Let's see. There's URNM. Looks good. Let's go to energy fuels. Okay, I think we have almost second highest volume ever. All right. You got an interesting doji. See, the thing is that some of these feel a little indecisive, where things like Cameco are really kind of leading the way. All right. Cameco is pulling ahead of everything. And I wonder how much of it has to do with the whole SILJ deal. Maybe nothing, right? That's kind of a small venture, but it could be a big deal. I don't know. There were some people putting in some major calls with April expirations. I don't know how much that has to do with it, but it's clearly running away from everything else. And the thing is, though, this is why I'm zooming in on uranium. We're still getting these big upper wicks, okay? Still getting these big upper wicks. So we broke above this level, and then we fell back below it. Now we're coming up above it again with upper wicks. Just stay with me. Look at these upper wicks. Something's going on here that I don't like. I don't like it at all because we're starting the day with big volume. So look at this daily volume here, for example, okay? Let's go to an hourly. So you're starting the day with this big volume, right? And then it peters off, and then you sell in the end. And this is happening. Look at Cameco. Started the day with this huge volume, and then you sell at the end. And it's going like this. I'm not sure what the deal is, starting the day off with bigger volume and then selling for the rest of the day. But I don't like it. Not short term, right? I mean, obviously, uranium's going a lot higher than we are today. It's one of the most bullish things you could own. But I'm telling you guys, something's not sitting well with me. And what I think it might be, and hear me out, is that we could be prepared to face some kind of a liquidity crisis, maybe. Maybe a break in the bond market. I don't know, but I feel like someone does know. Okay? And they're selling strength, right? I mean, we could be developing kind of a Wyckoff here. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I can tell you this. All right, we're supposed to be doing the monthly chart. I'm going to tell you this. It's bullish. We're going up here, okay? We're going up. We're going up. It's a great thing to own. We're going up. But on the short term, I can't help but feel like there's going to be some kind of flush down. Even if it's not, a day. Even if it only lasts a day or something, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. I can just feel it in my bones. It's something is not sitting right with me in these charts. And so I'm going to stick my neck out there and say that. A lot of people are making fun of me on Twitter and stuff for saying this. It's like, look, man, I believe this stuff is going higher too, but I'm also looking at the charts, and there are upper wicks that keep forming at these same levels across the board, right? And even if you go into these over-the-counters, I mean, we're just kind of riding a bit lower. I'm just not seeing it. Man, Western uranium and vanadium. You got to own some of this if you don't. This might be my favorite one. overall. Certainly in the top three, for sure. In the top three. I'm looking to add more if we can touch here again, or even break down below. It's a strong buy for me. And I was posting things like this on Twitter recently too, and I was trying to point this out to people that, let me use this. So from here to here, we had a rising price, right? Clearly. But for that same period, we had declining RSI. Excuse me. That's divergence. And that usually means that you're going to get a rollover. And surely we did. We got this. And a lot of people say, why are we selling? Well, that's part of the reason on the short-term time frame is right there. But I don't think it's over yet. The RSI has corrected and resynced itself now. But I just feel like this is going to come down and test. I just do. I mean, the thing about it is that even if I'm wrong, there's a way to know you're wrong and not to have to miss the boat on the next leg up. Because if we don't get this flush down one more time before the next leg, then what's going to happen is that you're going to get a breakout on volume. Okay, you can see the declining volume right now. Okay, so if that pickup in volume comes with the move up, then you chase it. Just buy. Okay, that's just that simple. So you don't have to miss the boat on anything. I think the intelligent thing to do right now, if you have cash and you want to own more of this stuff, is wait. Because there is no reason to buy right here. On the daily chart in uranium, you're kind of in limbo. You're not really doing much. I think the market's considering this. I think the market's figuring it out right now. I think that's why it's so unclear. There's no clear direction on the short-term time frame. And that's why you just need to hang tight on the short term. Just wait to see if you can break these key levels like $6 on NextGen, or let's say $10.50 on Energy Fuels, or $30 on Cameco. All right. So you start breaking that, and especially if you can do it with volume, then go ahead and buy and add and chase. Until then, just wait for this to kind of come test something. Okay, we're going to kind of go through rare earth real quick, at least the ones that we track. MP, we talked about it being a buy here. We are now up here. On the monthly chart, you have increasing volume as we break with a strong candle above this resistance. So this looks very healthy. I do not doubt at all we get to our first target of $73. Very likely our second target of $100. Commerce Resources. This candle doesn't tell the whole story because it really started gaining traction later in the month. But with that being said, this is something to eyeball. See if you can't get in down here. If you want to take a speculation play on something 5 years out that might develop and turn into something big in rare earth in North America, I would highly suggest taking a look at this one. See if you can get in. Let me zoom in so you can see it better. Right now, we had a kind of a big gap open. We settled above the 200, and we're holding there. Actually, we're kind of rising. The volume's not great, but the price is staying above, and it's tended not to do that in the past. So this does look good in a way. Still, if you can come down and retest one of these moving averages, I would say go ahead and get your feet wet. I think if we can come back down here at all, which I actually don't think we will, but if we do, I think that would be a strong buy. Personally, I'd get in pretty heavily. We've been talking about vital metals. It's trying. All right, it is clearly trying. This is a clean trend line where we have got a small close above. We kind of peekabooed back down, and now we got a long wick above again with a technical close above. So that's the daily. Where are we at on the monthly? Let's take a look. Kind of clean this up. Yeah, on the monthly, not so good. The volume kind of came late in the month. Let's try weekly. Yep. So let's give it another week, if not 2 weeks, because it could still kind of come down here and play with people a little bit. But if we start breaking up with any kind of volume, especially anything that can match or beat this week, I think you really, really, really need to get in because this is probably going to blast off. Occidental Petroleum. Look at that volume. Highest ever. Highest ever. Not even close by a mile. And where did it stop? Well, we put in a wick above a major resistance level, which is pretty clear. I mean, this is a strong technical level, right? I think that we've got that in exactly the right place. And we got a small close below it. You know, on a smaller time frame, this is exactly where you would be watching it to buy or add if you missed it before. Okay. You got a nice leg up, some potential sideways consolidation on the resistance. If you get above this with any kind of volume, you buy, and you buy with prejudice. But on the monthly, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself, right? I mean, geez Louise. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this monthly candle? I mean, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. It's got to be at least 2.5 times the previous highest candle. So beat it by a mile. We've been talking about this too since down here. We've been trading it, and it's been a good run. It makes total sense that we at least make it up to this level, right? I mean, look at that 108 level. Of course. I think you could start taking profits there. But man, I mean, that really shows you what kind of interest there is in potash right now. So on the short term, yeah, I mean, it's doing this consolidation deal. We kind of talked about this too. Anytime you ride down here, you can feel free to add. This upper bound, I don't know. We just need to keep watching it. I don't see any reason why it rolls over. I mean, there's no really good news that could come from this industry through any kind of a headline. So I expect it to remain bullish. It's just a matter of how much profit people are going to take and for how long. But you can buy on key support for sure. I'm going to look at the 10-year bond. This thing couldn't be more important. I mean, you got a lot of people talking about uranium and silver and gold and all kinds of commodities, and they don't even look at the bonds. They don't even look at the broad stock market. It's like, you don't understand how intertwined these things really are. You get another month like this in the 10-year, and we're going to be up here. We're going to break what is currently, a 41-year trend. All right. Do you think we're going to break that trend? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, but I think the chart and kind of the consensus analysis would be that we're not, right? Nobody expects this to happen. Nobody expects the Fed to follow through with all these rate hikes. In fact, the market is already pricing in the Fed rolling over and lowering rates in 2023, okay? They're already pricing in reduced rates. So nobody expects this to break, which, it makes me wonder if this is going to be kind of the black swan event that nobody expects. Of course, it's not a true black swan, but for lack of a better term, this might be the black swan nobody expects, that these rates just skyrocket, the Fed follows through, and all these equities are going to absolutely get wrecked. All right, and that would mean that at least in the short term, gold, silver stocks all would crash too. Uranium, all these things would crash because it's a liquidity crisis. But I don't think you would try to sell through that. You just hold, use cash to add more on key technical levels. By the way, guys, I almost forgot. I did my first ever flash update because I saw a lot of chatter about Bitcoin, and it was back, and it was breaking out, and you need to get back in. So I opened the charts and checked it out, and it's like, no, I don't think so. I better put out some kind of update and see if I can't maybe help somebody, keep them from losing their money. And sure enough, that's what happened, because exactly the way I talked about, exactly the way it played out. Because remember, you had two ways to know to buy Bitcoin or crypto for that matter. One was the Fed. We already talked about it. And two was to break this neckline with volume and stay. And we only achieved one of those things, right? We broke the neckline with no volume. Therefore, we did not stay. So this was a totally predictable move. We talked about it in the flash update and the follow-up video. And so I just wanted to point that out, guys, because it really is that easy, man. I make all these comments to you guys, even in this video about volume and breakouts and what to watch for, because that's how it works. And if you can just learn those few fundamentals, man, you'll make so much money, and you'll, more importantly, not lose, nearly as much.